Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome to the Success Talks with Coach Tendai Mungate. And today on the show, I am very much honored to be having an award-winning social entrepreneur, author. She's the founder of Phoenix Publishing. She's also a writing coach and a life coach. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to welcome on the show Miss Faith Chipangura. Miss Faith, welcome on the show.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Very much.
You're most welcome. It's an honor to have you on the show. We know you're a very prestigious woman, but it's
Okay, I'll take that.
all right.
Thank you.
So just to kickstart the show, maybe to those people that might not know who you are, maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself.
That one I always find very interesting when someone says that, because I never know where to start. Even if I have my profile, I read it countless times, and then when that question is asked, it's like everything just goes off. I'll start by saying I'm a child of God. Yeah, I'm a sister to my brothers. I'm my mother's daughter. I'm a friend, and I'm a writer. I'm an author and a social entrepreneur. Women have got a very special place in my heart. So I thrive with women empowerment on social issues, spiritual issues, physical, financial, stuff like that, to empower women. That's who I am. I'm a foodie. I love food. And I love God. I love people. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Please take us back a little bit to your upbringing. How did you grow up?
Right, the famous one. I grew up in the village, born and bred and raised in the village, born in my grandmother's kitchen, and raised with a lot of cousins. I come from a very large family. My grandmother has got 10 kids, so you can imagine all the siblings to my mom have their kids, and we have a very big family. So I grew up in Ngeu. It's a village just outside Plumtree, in a place called Mbakwe. That's where I come from. Well, my mom comes from there, and then my dad is Shona, comes from Churumanzu. So we grew up in my maternal side of the family. And I went to Mpandeni Girls High, and then after that, I did temp teaching, and then tried my hand in marriage. It didn't work out. The reason why I say I tried my hand is because I walked in perhaps with no idea what I wanted. So when it didn't work out, now I view it differently, with much more respect for what happens in there and how it's supposed to happen. From a different perspective from what I thought it was. And then I'm a former flight attendant, flew for 7 years.
Oh, wow.
And I resigned recently in March. It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean.
Which flight were you?
Hey, no, we will not say that. I'm sorry, I can't.
Okay,
For your brand's sake, and so that they don't get free advertising time, and yeah. But it's a local Zimbabwean airline, and I was there for 7 years. Yeah, the most bitter, sweet 7 years of my life. Yeah, major lessons learned there, major achievements, the highest highs and the lowest lows. Yeah, so yeah, up to where I am now, and yeah.
Wow, amazing. You talked about marriage and some lessons that you learned in that particular space. Maybe just to share with our viewers, well, what happened in that particular experience?
You're putting me on the spotlight.
No. I think it's just getting to know you.
No, I understand. It didn't work out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll start there. I walked into marriage with an idea of the Hollywood movies. You know, these rom-coms, this is your Netflix. Please, when you're walking into a relationship or marriage, don't go in with the idea of Cinderella, you know.
Cinderella.
How the knight in shining armor swoops in, and these are real life issues that affect people. When you're walking into a marriage, what do you want? And what does he want? How are you coming together to provide the ideal situation for you? Not borrowing a concept from a movie or from a novel that you read, because I mean, I grew up reading Daniel Steele. she's good with romance, all these, happily ever afters. So it didn't start happily ever after for me. It just hit the the ground running, and I was a stepmother at 21. I would not advise anyone to get married before 25, please, thank you. But if you're grounded and you've been getting enough training that you feel you're positioned enough to have an understanding of what being married entails, perhaps you can get into it. So having said that, eventually things started falling apart. We were good people, just not good together. So I didn't want to get to a point whereby I end up as a statistic dead because my ex-husband has killed me with domestic violence, all these GBV issues. I've been there, I've done that. I've had my jaws broken by the same person who said they love me and that they're going to protect me. And when you look at it from that perspective, it changes the way you view things, the way you want to walk into it, and the way you then view the whole institution of marriage. So yeah.
And from that experience, now we have 7 books from you. Let's talk about that journey. You went into marriage, of course, at a young age. But what then happened after that?
I was broken. Listen, when you're in your early 20s, I don't know about other women, but I'll say I've realized most of the women that I encounter, especially between the ages of 18 and 24, they have this idea of love, which is like a bubble. Love is exciting, love doesn't fight, love doesn't get angry, it's perfect, it's absolute perfection, which is not true, a major misconception. So when I walked into my marriage, I thought, I've found my husband. This is someone that I love. I've found love. But really, what is love? Does he have an idea of what love entails? Does he have an idea of how I want to be loved? Does he have an idea of his ideal love language, how he wants to be shown love, how he wants to be treated and stuff like that? And it taught me a lesson with that as men and women, when we are walking into marriage, we are looking for 2 different things. Men are looking for respect, women are looking for love. What does love look like for a woman? Love looks like a woman being pampered, being treated well, feeling heard, being spoiled. Even if you bring her freeze it, she's going to be excited because you brought her the freeze it. And men feel respected in a certain manner when you're talking to him. Speak to him, not at him. So I think when I was younger, I'm going to take my part in the contributing of the whole marriage not working out, because I believe in accountability. I don't believe in him taking all the blame and being a bad person. He's not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. We're not good together. So when it came to that, it then made me realize there's issues which need to be addressed. Like, you want to learn to communicate with your partner. I didn't know how to communicate. I'll shut down. You do something that doesn't make me happy. Even now, sometimes I do it. I'm not going to talk about it. If I'm unhappy, we're done. Like, I'm just cut. Like, I'm out. Yeah, so I had to learn to communicate, learn to express my feelings, my emotions, without hurting the other person. I was just talking with Yvonne just before we started now. Kuti, people need to learn when they're getting into relationships. Kuti, when we are fighting, we need to fight fair. There is no way we are going to get into a relationship or end up in marriage. The way you were raised from your family and the way I was raised are 2 different worlds apart. Yeah. So when we are fighting, we definitely will fight, because you fight with your siblings. I mean, you slept in the same home. So when you're fighting with someone who is coming from a complete different home and now you guys have decided to make it one, fight fair. I don't want to fight with you and start telling you about what your mother said to you last year, or the reason why, what happened to you when you were young. No, let's fight about this. I ask you, for example, take the plates to the sink. You insist on leaving them on the table. Why is that? Can we talk about this like adults? So I learned that in marriage, you've got to communicate, you've got to compromise, and also you need to have a PhD in forgiving. Because if you're gonna get into this with someone's child and you don't have forgiveness in you, it's not gonna work. On a daily basis, you need to be in a place where you're prepared to forgive them, perhaps for leaving the socks by the door, or for saying something wrongly, or for hurting your feelings, stuff like that. So it taught me a lot of things, and it made me look at the whole marriage institution in a different way. It made me look at love from a different point of view and angle, and having an understanding to say, when I'm walking in, I'm not walking in for myself, I'm walking in for the both of us. So when I say something, I need to be able to be standing on the receiving end, so that when we are talking, we have a revelation of saying, oh, I've said this. If it were me having that being said to me, how would I take it? Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Thank you very much for sharing for sharing that with us, and for opening up about your marriage and sharing your experience. I know it's not an easy thing, just opening up. Right. So let's talk about some of these books. Your journey is quite amazing now. You know, you're an award-winning social entrepreneur, you're an author, you're hosting these amazing events. Let's talk about how did that emerge? How was the author in you birthed? Let's talk about that.
I'll say this one thing. I've been a reader since I was in grade 3, grade 4. Going to a village school. So my mom was a nurse, my dad was a teacher, and then my stepdad was the deputy headmaster. So coming from that background, you see books lying around at home. So eventually you get an interest. Well, let me say I got an interest in all those books lying around. My mom would get Edgar's magazines. So when she's done reading them, she just throws them on the corner into the box with magazines. So when I was in grade 3, I developed an interest in the pictures in that book. And then from there, I started learning to read. By the time I was in grade 4, I could read fluently, I could speak properly in English, even if I'm in a village school. By the time I'm in grade 7, I was reading novels. You know, those little books that you find, what's the name of the book? Tunzi, the Faithful Shadow, you know? And when I went to high school, Post Search and the other Ndebele novels, Umzila Kaolandelwa, you know? Stuff like that. So I was always reading. And then the writing, I would always write nice compositions. I would get my 21 out of 25 and stuff like that. And then this one time, somebody who was my desk mate broke my heart so greatly. I was in Form 3. So I decided...
This is a guy?
No, it's a lady. I went to an all-girls school, thank you. So I thought she was my friend. So she had something that she didn't like about me. Listen, I'm a very chatty, very silly person if I'm in my mode. So I think that being jumpy and playful was irritating her. Instead of her communicating with me, she went to the class teacher and told her that she doesn't want to be my desk mate. Which I felt we could have solved it. She could have told me, good, I can't be a desk mate anymore. I need to move and change from where I am because you're making noise for me. So she didn't do that. So from that, I retaliated or responded or reacted, whichever it is. I wrote her a letter to express my disappointment. It was 32 pages. Okay. So I wrote 32 pages. And then I gave it to her. She read it. Unfortunately, she passed away early this year. And we've joked about it. And so from there, I then realized I've got a strength in expressing myself. That was 2005. And then from there, I forgot about it. Never wrote anything for anyone. I just write maybe my poems here and there or express my feelings in journaling. In 2015, December, I had a breakdown whereby I needed to release everything. Just write everything. I sat down and I wrote. And I tore that book away. No, I never got to see it. And then 2016 March, things will change and turn around. And from 26 February to the 28th, we had a revival in church. So I rededicated my life back to God. And I just started hearing things and to say, okay, I think you should write a book. So I don't know if it's my mind or if it's the Holy Spirit. So I followed that unction. And over the next period of 21 days, I found myself writing my first book, I'm Enough. So I was learning about loving myself and getting to a point whereby I'm learning it from the Bible and having an understanding of where I'm coming from having a comparison of what I've done or what I've been through and bringing those together and to teach myself and other people. So I wrote it. I didn't make much of it. Eventually I decided, let me write as well dungeons. So part of the material that was on the things that I wrote the previous year in December then came into dungeons as well. So I then removed certain things that I didn't want, and then I added certain things as well, and then I balanced it with the lessons of saying, what lessons am I having out of these experiences? How can somebody draw from that, and all those things. And then wrote my third, my fourth, my fifth, put those away. 2016, 2017, nothing. I moved back to Zim. And then I got paired with a certain lady who became my mentor. So one day during the lessons, during the mentorship program, I then said to her, I've written books. You know, if you come to me and say you've written books, I'm not going to, dispute with you and say, no, you haven't. And she says, okay, that's nice. Bring them, let's see. Because maybe she didn't think I actually did. So I brought my hard copies. I had written them with my hands. I had like 5 72-page books. So I brought them the exercise books she browses, and then she said, which one would you want to publish first? So I said, enough. And then she was like, okay, go and type it. I didn't have a laptop. I had a little tablet. So I went and sat down, I captured the whole thing and brought it back to her. And then she said, print it out. I printed it out, and then she said, I'm going to go through the first edit. I didn't know about editing. I mean, to me, if I wrote the message, it was good to go, man. Like, and then she edited the first draft, and she taught me a few things on line construction and saying, have an eye for this. Think about how it sounds from the other end, and that's when my journey started. She referred me to a publisher. I got my cover design and stuff like that. And from 2018, well, I've been publishing since then up to now. And seasons differ. Yeah. So some of the books that I wrote back then in 2016 are still not published. Yeah. Some of it's been quite an interesting journey, because some of these things is like, I can write. I'll give you an example. I wrote a book on friendships in 2019. It's still not yet out because I hadn't had the release for it to come out. So it's stuff like that, and learning to discern the seasons and pairing it and having an understanding of saying, right now this is the right time to release this, because you might have a message and then it's not the right time for you to say that particular thing. You stand a chance of hurting yourself or hurting those people whom you're supposed to be helping. So it's been quite an interesting walk.
Thank you very much for sharing your journey with us. Viewers, I think this is a good time to take a short break. We are going to take a short break, and after the break we are just going to be diving more into these amazing books. I'm just getting to know the mind of this amazing woman, what she was thinking when she was writing these books. Amazing. So stay tuned. Let's meet after the break. Success is just an attitude if you believe you can or you cannot. Either way, you are right. Those are the words of Henry Ford. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Success Talks with Coach T Mungate, and this is your Success Tips with Coach T. And today I'll just like to talk to you about the power of attitude. Your life right now is as a result of how you're seeing it, and that's basically attitude. What do you believe about yourself? Your attitude matters. The way you perceive life matters. I want you to think of the lion. It's not the biggest animal. No, it's not. It's not your largest or tallest animal, but it's the king of the jungle. Have you ever asked yourself why it's the king of the jungle? I doubt. If you have, maybe you haven't gotten the answer. Let me give you the answer. It's because of its attitude. So what am I saying? Lessons to learn from the lion on attitude. Number 1 is be focused. Number 2, believe you can. No one can ever believe in you the way you can believe in yourself. As much as others believe in you, it's all about you believing in yourself at the end of the day. So what am I saying? What you believe about yourself is far much more important than what other people believe about you. So believe in yourself, believe you can do it, believe you're able, and you actually succeed. Thank you very much for watching this video. This is Your Success Tips with Coach Tendai Mungate. Please do subscribe to this channel to get more of these inspiring tips. Thank you very much. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and a warm welcome back to the Success Talks with Coach Tendai Mungate show. And today on the show, we are very much humbled to be having such a woman who's actually challenging me as well. She's got 7 books in her name. She's an award-winning social entrepreneur, author, as you can see, writing coach, a mentor to many writers, and also the founder and CEO of Phoenix Publishing. Well, welcome to the show once again. Right, so before the break, you were telling us about your writing journey, and I would like to dive into one of your books, The Value-Added Woman, which is one book that I'm definitely buying for everyone, every woman. So if we've got women who are watching, please make sure that I buy you this book. Okay, so
Very big promise.
I'm just joking, guys. I'm joking. I imagine we've got
The whole country, which is good for my health.
no, it's good for you. So, in this book, you share some quite interesting top things, and one key thing about there's a chapter in here where you talk about self-care and mental health, and I think this is on page 70. And there it reads, there's a statement that I want to read here, which really caught my attention. It says that, simply put, self-care is the practice of taking steps to nurture, protect, and improve all of your health. It's about learning to love yourself, your body, your soul, your essence. Wow. All right. So let's dive into this topic of self-care and mental health. I think it's one trending topic that has been trending around here in Zimbabwe, around the world. We've got so many cases of people who are facing this problem, especially men as well. Let's talk about mental health. What inspired you to write this chapter in your book?
So before we go any further, let me just disclose a little bit about mental health. So I released this book on the 4th of June, only for me to have a mental breakdown on the 9th of August. Yeah. So no one is safe when it comes to mental health. You might think you're the strongest person, and I don't believe there is anyone strong. And I would like to say this here right now, to say, I don't want people referring to me as a strong woman. Please, I'm the softest woman you can ever encounter. I'm a marshmallow. Please treat me with care. Because no. But all along I thought I was strong to handle anything. I mean, life has thrown me some major curveballs, but I've fallen and I've gotten up like we are all supposed to. But at a certain point in time, you need to stop and really stop everything in your tracks, regardless of how much bills you have, regardless of who's relying on you or who needs you to take care of you. And I say this coming from a very deep place in my heart, because I didn't realize that I was sliding into a depression, and it wasn't something which happened over a short period, not 2 weeks, not 2 months, not 3 months. Over the past 1 year, 9 months, everything has been piling. And mind you, over the past year, I've been doing self-care Sundays, whereby I completely shut down everything to specifically take care of me. So when I was doing all this, one part was neglected for the mental health, because I kept piling on things, and I'm thinking about those things and not expressing them and not voicing them out. I get people who come to me running, Coach Faith, ABCD is happening, and then I'm like, what can we do? Being a problem solver for other people and being an encourager to other people, to a point that we forget to encourage ourselves and solve our own problems. So I got stuck in that place, and it made me realize, Kuti, at a certain point in time, all of us need to be taken care of, either by ourselves or by other people, one. And secondly, don't be scared to ask for help. If you feel something is not going right or that you're not feeling okay, find that one person who's going to hold you down. It can be your mother, it can be your brother, it can be a professional therapist, but find somebody who sits you down and you pour out your heart, and they ask you constructive questions to get you thinking about things, and in such a way that you're going to see them differently. And number 3, I would say, Kuti, don't be scared to ask for help. Don't. It doesn't matter if you're an award-winning author, if you are a 7-time author, if you've done great exploits, if you've served mang. Or it's when it gets to like the end, what matters is who you are, not your titles. So I found myself cornered to a point whereby I wanted to commit suicide on the 9th of August. Yeah. And it would take me 4 phone calls to call my friends, you know, those people that I knew would have my back. And they dropped everything and came running to my house. And I got all the help that I needed to get, because now I stopped seeing everything as a positive thing. Listen, I speak to people about mental health. I speak to people about self-care, about, you know, having hope. My message is encouragement. Through it all that I'm doing, either I'm having a speaking engagement or I'm writing my book, is to encourage somebody to like cement them into believing that things can change at any point given in time. Because if you look at me coming from the village and where I am, I might not be where I want to be, but I'm definitely not where I used to be. If you see me as a divorced woman who was abused, beaten up with broken jaws and broken ribs, and today, if you're looking at me and I have the courage to talk about it without crying and from a healed point, it's possible for anyone. And I'm here to encourage people to hold on and just trust the process and trust God. Yet I got to that point. So when you're talking about all those things, it goes down to the things that we are not talking about. Speak up. Really, speak up. Look for help. Reach out to people. If you're not fine, you're not fine. It doesn't matter if it's Coach Tendai or if it's whoever. Listen, if you're not fine, you're not fine. Speak up and tell the people, I need help. How can I be helped? Do you think there is anyone who can sit down with me and listen to what I have to say? And you'll be shocked. You get a different perspective. You get the help that you need. You might need help, just someone to hold your hand to walk to the gate. And everyone is looking at you and thinking, you're fine, you're doing fine. You're not fine if what you're thinking is pushing you to a corner whereby you end up seeing all the light around you and having no hope, whereby you end up in a dim place, whereby you end up so discouraged and depressed. So,
well, thank you very much for sharing that, and it's quite very touching and very emotional. But I think at the end of the day, mental health is very pivotal. As you said, we need to take some time to work on, you know, on ourselves, and those self-care Sundays, or whatever day you should just take some time to.
For sure. If there is one thing that I've learned in the process is that we shouldn't shut down. Whereby you get to a point you're saying, I'm strong, I have all the ideas because I'm a life coach, because I'm an accomplished person, because I'm an executive in my workplace, or because I'm a man. The biggest one yet is, because I'm a man, I can't cry. My friend, please cry. Yeah? Me, I'll bring you tissues. If you need to cry, call me, I'll come and I'll sit. I might not have encouragement for you, I might not have the solution, but I'm going to offer you a listening ear. And remembering that you're not alone, it plays a major part. Because it's like sometimes we push ourselves to a corner because they're saying, no one is going to understand. For example, say you're having financial issues. You start thinking, Mara, they saw me, on my talk show, and then I go and ask for $20 to my friend instead of opening up and telling him, I need $20. He's not going to believe me because they're saying you've got something going on. No, don't be strong for anyone. If you need to be vulnerable, choose and find the right people for you to open up and be vulnerable too, and bring yourself forth. Because I don't understand this thing of putting on masks. We show up and then we are looking like we're fine, and then we get home and everything is falling apart. And I had to learn that tough way, because I got to a place where I'm like, who am I going to talk to? Really, I have friends, I do. They love me, they take care of me. And my mom, she loves me. But I couldn't tell her, this is what's going on. I'm slipping into a depression. I'm struggling with APCD. How can I handle APCD? Because the whole time they want to see me thrive. And may we never come to a point whereby we take that as a misconception of that, because they want to see us thrive. They don't expect us to ask for help or to fail. You're gonna fail 999 times. Yeah, before you get it right. How many times did the bulb guy fail before he got it right?
Yeah,
Exactly. How many times did the aircraft fall down before it actually took off and flew successfully? You know, how many times did they try with the, you know, who is it? Whoever invented something, it was not done in one day. Like it says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It's not the literal journey that they're talking about. It's everything which we are building around. Either it's mental health. If you feel you're not fine and you feel there's a person who can listen to you, give them a call. Ask them to come and see you. And the biggest thing that I've realized is that we are too spiritually sensitive, whereby I want to spiritualize everything. Trust me, I'm a child of God. I love God. He hears me and all those things. But God is not going to get himself down from heaven and come and sit next to me. He's going to bring that kind of help through a physical person who's here on earth. That's the help that he can give me. The reason that the reason being, that person who has a heart to sympathize and listen to you and give you wisdom is coming from him. So take it that this is a child of God and this is God being represented by this person who I can trust, this person who loves me, who can defend me. So we want to say, oh, the Holy Spirit is going to take care of it. Please put in your work before he does his, so that you meet halfway. It's like you're saying, I'm a prayerful person. I'm never going to work. I'll just pray in tongues from Sunday to Sunday. You will die of hunger. Yeah. You'll be homeless because you're not working. You need to balance the work and the spirituality and bring them together and get to a point of understanding with it. Really, there is mental issues. If you want to see good mental issues date as far as possible, look at the twins, Esau and what's his name? His twin brother. The one, before that. The first one, the one who murdered the other one.
Oh, Cain.
Cain and Abel.
And Abel, exactly.
Is that not mental health issues?
Yes, it is.
Cain went mental and murdered his brother because he was jealous. So understand that you can get to a point where you kill yourself because you've been cornered like that, and maybe you've got strife or you've got jealous or you're feeling like you're not doing enough. Stuff like that. So how are you dealing with it? We need to find like tangible solutions which are effective and solutions which make us understand that this is working for me. Because you spoke up and you got the help that you need, it doesn't mean that it might help me. I might speak up and then the person goes and spreads the word all across town, and then it backfires, and then by the end of the day, I mean, with these very famous recordings, you might end up on HMetro for all you know, on whatever pages which are trending. Those are the kinds of things. So I would encourage people to be discerning and understanding. I need help, and there is nothing wrong with asking for help. Especially men. Please, men need to learn to speak up. This business of raising our children and telling them, you know, boys don't cry. Please, I've got a 10-year-old son. When I tell my son, please, if you need to cry, and then we sit down and we talk about it. You tell me.
Isn't it going against what this thing of, you know, being masculine and, you know, this?
Okay. I have this one question. How much is your masculinity serving you? Is it working against you or working for you? I would say for people, use your wisdom. You can be all masculine that you want and you end up being toxic because you cannot deal with your emotions or because you don't have means and ways of handling things. So by the end of the day, how is your masculinity serving you again? I could have the softest man as my man and have him be in touch with these emotions any day than have a man who's very toxic and masculine and doesn't know how to deal with these emotions or address issues. This is whereby you end up seeing people shooting other people. You see people ending up murdering the whole family and themselves. A person ends up hanging themselves because they were masculine, they couldn't talk about those issues, all because it's contradicting to what society prescribes as a way of a man.
Wow. Amazing. And I think in one of your books you address that. Which book is it?
Things You Never Say Out Loud.
Yeah, this one. There's definitely, guys, you need to get this book.
Because we have so many issues that we don't talk about. A man is going through a heartbreak. You know, his solution of dealing with it is going to cheat on every other woman. and cheat with the half of the city. Today you see him with that one, tomorrow with that one, tomorrow. All because a woman broke his heart. Or they end up being toxic and they take it to social media and start bullying other women. You know, stuff like that. Please heal, talk about things, let them out. Yeah, if you feel you need a release, I don't have a problem with the person coming and screaming. I'll give you my pillow. You will scream all you want. We deal with it and talk about it. And get to a point where we have an understanding of saying, it's okay to be in touch with your emotions. It's okay to deal with the way you're feeling and everything, you know?
Wow. Let's talk about this book. Letters to Your Future Husband.
Yes.
What was your thought process in this amazing book?
I don't know what it is. If you're watching Future Husband.
You might just be watching.
Oh, God. It's coming from a place of wanting to have communication. I mean, I've highlighted that I got into my marriage not knowing what I wanted. That was because I wasn't equipped. We never communicated it. There's things that affect people in relationships, and then we end up creating eggshell-like conditions whereby you have to tiptoe, because if you say this, she's going to blast, or if you say that, he's going to leave. I'll start with this. Money. You meet a girl today, immediately she's become homeless and she's somewhat become adopted. You have to pay for her hair, you have to pay for her nails, you have to buy her makeup, you have to take her out for lunch. Where is her own money? So I'm addressing such issues to say, I'm going to provide for my end and bring in what I bring to the table, because I can't say I'm bringing being pretty or having brains into the table. We don't eat that. It doesn't pay the bills, I'm sorry. Let's be realistic. What are you bringing to the table besides a beautiful body and a beautiful face? What are you bringing to the table? You might have all the nails you want in the world, but what are you bringing to the table? You might have all the abs that you want, be ribbed and be masculine, you know, all those nicely done ties, smelling nice. But what are you bringing to the table? I believe in working hard, and I put in the work with all due respect to all men and women out there. This book was meant to bring those issues, because when it comes to monetary issues, I'm not down for having a man who keeps asking for a woman to provide for him, or a woman who keeps asking for a man to provide for him. Bring something to the table and then we meet halfway. And so you find that most guys run away from relationships because month end is coming. Please go and cut your hair like me. You know, can you buy me groceries? But you go to work every day. Where is your salary? What are you doing with such things? Such topics. And then we talk about communication. How are you communicating? I'm not communicating in my actions. I don't do well with communicating with actions. Please sit down, verbalize your emotions, verbalize your thoughts. Tell me how you're feeling. Tell me what you're thinking. And then you communicate. You know, we sit down and say, hey, listen, I didn't like how you spoke to me, Papa. I felt the issue was going this way and I felt we could have done it this way. That's communicating. And tomorrow you know not to do that or how to do it better. And having an understanding of love languages. I might be a person who loves gifts or who loves spending quality time.
I think that one is a very big topic
when
it comes to relationships.
Yeah, exactly. Such issues. I might love spending time with you and you might love gifts. And now I come and I keep bombarding you with spending time and they're like, oh, you are not you know, stuff like that. So Letters to My Future Husband really was bringing common ground of getting people started in conversation on issues that affect relationships.
Wow, amazing. And then now let's talk about you as a speaker, coach. What are some of the exploits that you have done, some of the work that you've done so far in regards to that area?
What have I done in regards to speaking and coaching? Yeah, guys, a lot. I have not been paid enough.
Guys, this is a person with 7 books. Let's pay you.
Thank you.
What, please.
I haven't been paid enough.
Let's pay you, please.
I've spoken greatly, especially to women, women empowerment, self-care issues, and really those issues, and doing charity drives. Because I come from a background, I need you to understand, Kuti, I come from a background whereby we didn't have too much or extra, we had enough. We never slept with an empty stomach or outside the house because bills couldn't be paid and stuff like that. My mama worked hard, she still works hard up to now. Yet we saw her growing up, like our uniforms, whenever we got a new set of uniforms, she'd take out one and then ask us, who do we want to give? So we had to identify one kid at school who needed a uniform. And I mean, she'll pay school fees for these 2 kids and buy their books. And this is a nurse, by the way. So from her little salary, and she's raising 4 kids and bringing all those things together, she's paying our school fees. She's also paying school fees for extended family, providing for her parents as well. So I then realized that she wasn't giving from a point of abundance. She was giving from that point of saying there is a need. So that, as a speaker and as a coach, has brought me to have empathy and compassion for people who are less privileged. So that's one. And the second thing is empowerment talks. I've opened an organization called Woman to Woman. It's a social entrepreneurship organization which focuses on helping women be empowered spiritually, financially, mentally, emotionally, socially, equip them with tools, and we engage professionals in different sectors to come and speak to them and impart certain things. Because I believe when we are balanced all round, if I'm spiritually strong and I can pray, and I'm physically strong and healthy and I can work, then my financial side is also covered. If my mental side is up to standard and is balancing with the other ones, I can then work towards achieving certain things. And I believe when we empower women like that, we have whole communities. We have families which are taken care of. We don't have kids who are going to be broken by the words of their mothers or their sisters, and then they end up being dysfunctional people in the community who can't relate because they were broken when they were younger. So I believe in women empowerment, and I offer services when it comes to coaching on self-mastery and confidence. So personal development really is something that I'm thriving on here.
Oh, amazing. And I know we've touched a lot in this interview. We touched relationships, mental health, and stuff. We would like to just tap into I know you've got 7 books. I keep referring to this, but we'd like to tap into your wisdom generally. What would be just your from your story, the key lessons you would say, maybe 3 that you would like to share with our viewers today? 3 key lessons for them to even apply to from your life.
I'll say rule number 1, believe in yourself. That's lesson number 1. I'm not where I want to be, but I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't believe in myself. We were talking earlier about Gucci. I'm not waiting for my family to support me. I'm not waiting for them to believe in me. I have enough belief in myself for the rest of the family. By the time they catch up, they'll catch me already doing it, and they'll see me. I'm not waiting for their approval to say, oh, you're doing good. Back when I was younger, I needed that. I needed that so badly, but it never came. So when you want something so badly and it doesn't come, eventually it keeps breaking you, and you keep going back and back and back. So if you want to move forward and strive in what you're doing, believe in yourself. Number 2, surround yourself with the circle of people who are where you want to be. There's somebody who said you are an average of 5 people that you play with. So just imagine you're playing with Elon Musk, you're playing with Oprah Winfrey, you're playing with Bill Gates. Your average is going to be, but if you are playing Nana, I don't know whose name I can use, but let me not do that. And you expect to thrive from there. I'm not saying there is no lessons that they can give you. There are, but up to what end? They haven't had the exposure of where you desire to be. They don't have the resources to push you to where, So the second one being, surround yourself with those people. And when you get there, carry yourself in a way that shows that you want to be part of this and you want to be here. And this comes in different aspects. How are you groomed? I mean, we do believe in Zimbabwe in ties and formality and all those things, yeah? But it doesn't mean kuti that is all the grooming that you need. Take care of yourself, your hair, your nails, the way you shop, the way you present yourself, the way you carry yourself, the way you express yourself. You might be as nicely dressed as ever, and then you get here and you scream and shout, and everyone is going to start running away. So from those three things, I've learned kuti everything then comes in, and of course backed up by hard work, by consistency, by dedication, by discipline. Because it's easy to say, I'm going to do ABCD, but what are you doing? Have you started doing it? And then you're not. It's easy to talk about it. And when you're talking about all those things, package them in such a way that they come together. Even when you walk into a room, somebody's going to say, there's something about that young woman or that young man. And they want to know, kuti, who are you? And I'll add a fourth one. There's a difference between confidence and overconfidence. Overconfidence is unattractive, it's repellent. This is the reason why most young people are failing and we get turned away, because as much as you're expressing your ability to do something, you somewhat oversold yourself and you put people off from wanting to do anything with you. It was like, we are not saying but present it in a subtle way. Be humble about it. Don't rub it into people's faces. Be that person who's workable with, that person who's desirable, who knows when to voice themselves, who knows when to hold it, who's emotionally intelligent, who's discerning, who has wisdom really to deal with issues and deal with people. So yeah.
Wow, I liked the last point. I think that one is a very serious one in our generation.
We have so much pride, and the Bible says pride comes before a fall. I mean, it's easy to get big-headed because you won an award, I go win an award, and then today you're like, so tell us about faith. And then I'm like, overconfidence kicks in. No, I can't explain it, but be packaged in a way that's desirable. Even if you have your hours, even if you have your accolades, even if you've had the greatest exploits, have that thing that makes people to be able to relate with you when they sit with you. Not that you become so inaccessible, you are up high there on Mount Everest and the rest of the world is down here. And, be that person who's,
Amazing. And as we finish off the show, I know you have these amazing 7 books, but on this show we believe in books. What are some of the books that have made you into the person that you are? Maybe 3 of them, not including these 7.
Some books, which are not those ones, yeah.
Some books.
I would rather say maybe who are the writers, because I might forget their titles. My memory sometimes is bad, but I'll start with Mark Manson, The Subtle Art.
Okay.
I recommend that one. The 5 a.m. Club. And T.D. Jakes, I don't know how many of his books I've read. A whole lot. T.D. Jakes, and who else? I'm trying to think. I read a lot. And what's her name? I can't pronounce her name. She's Nigerian, the Smart Money Woman. Very good one. Very, very necessary book for any and every young man and woman. Yeah. And which other ones? I read a lot. I've forgotten some, but yeah, I can really compile like a whole page. So yeah, those are some of the authors who've impacted me and shifted the way I think about things.
Right. And any last words of motivation to our viewers today who are tuned into the show? Last words of motivation.
I'll say words of encouragement. Never give up, regardless of where you are or where you're coming from or where you have been. Just keep pressing, keep pushing. One day something is gonna give. That's all I gotta say.
Wow. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Never give up. Today we just heard from her story. She has 7 books out of not giving up. So do not give up on your dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, this was Success Talks with Coach Tendai Mungate. This was a very emotional episode. We touched on many topics, mental health. Please do take care of yourself. From me, Coach Tendai, our guest, the crew behind the scenes. Thank you very much for watching. It's a wrap. Let's meet in the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, and make us go viral. Thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned. Let's meet in the next episode.